Welcome to Sty Times. It's always great to see you folks. Hey, I gotta start. I gotta start the show off right away with the folks that popped in, all the early birds that popped in and said hi and started to chat a little bit. Eileen Ballou, the fam, popped in right away and said, "I'll be here." She always does that. David Jones, great to see you, David. Chrysler Imperial, awesome. And Chasing the Reaper, James, it's always great to see you, always. And everything spicy, throwing all those crazy emojis up there and says, miss you, along with a lot of us, yeah. We miss our crazy Ann. Yeah, we really do. Almost all day, every day. Will the Rocker, great to see you, Will. The Yeah, everybody's gonna say they miss Anne also. I mean, yeah, it's everything Spicy says. Phil says, I'm not understanding this topic, Sty. Maybe you'll understand it as we get going and do it. Yep, yep. Chirp, chirp. Early bird. The And Will says, yes, we do need to be understanding sometimes. There you go. Yeah, this is one of those topics that it goes all over the charts, goes up, down, all around. Do we always need to be understanding? Do we? I believe. Now, let's get this right from the get go. First of all, what is being understanding? Hi, Pepper Kid. What is being understanding? Okay, being understanding is an emotional reaction to information, to be understanding. Understanding something is having a clear definition of what you're experiencing, whether it be a statement somebody made, an action that somebody did, an event that happened, blah, blah, blah. If you got enough information, then you're understanding it. But to be more understanding, that's a decision that you make personally as to the level of understanding needed for you to make a emotional reaction to it, to take an emotional reaction to it. Now, we've all heard it. We've all heard it. I've heard it my whole life, ever since I could understand the English language. There has been several times someone has said to me, um, they've said, Sty, you need to be more understanding. I've caught myself saying that to others. You need to be more understanding. In other words, you would think that means you need more information so that you get it. But really, what it's saying is you need to have more tolerance. You need to put your feelings aside and take theirs into consideration. As I matured through life, I came to realize that is not really what we should be doing. You should never compromise yourself to be understanding. Never, never say, my feelings, my emotions aren't as important as understanding yours. you should never put yourself in that place because it's not very understanding to tell somebody you need to be more understanding. Well, do I? Do I? It's not me, it's not my situation because you don't have to be understanding about things in your own life because you understand your own life. It pretty much like, all of us get confused and we go, I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. That's a whole different ball game. But do we always, there's the key word, always need to be understanding? Now, hi, Donald Morris. It is great to see you. Now, I'm a firm believer that whatever you should be understanding about, once it presents itself, it might be a comment, an act somebody did, or a situation that's going on, could be a world event, could be all kinds of things. And you need to determine that's in the emotional side of this. You need to determine, is it important for me to understand this? Then what you've done is you triggered I'm going to try to be understanding. Well, okay, bravo. I'm a firm believer. If you got to that step where you might not consciously even realize it, but you've taken that step to try to understand what's going on. Once you have enough information, the you you then at that point can say, I need to be more understanding. You're telling yourself this. You don't need someone else to tell you this. You're telling yourself this. I need to be more understanding, because I don't know enough to know what they're going through or why that event happened. I just don't know enough. I need to be more understanding. You don't need somebody else to tell you that. You're your own person. Or you're going to tell yourself, that goes so against the grain and it is so against what I believe, personally believe. It triggers your emotions again. And you say, no, that's a deal breaker. I won't go there. I don't want to be more understanding. I don't want to understand this. I got just enough information. Tell me I don't even want to go there. It's one of those deals where oh yeah, test the water. You stick your toes in there and you go, whoa, that's way too cold. I ain't going in there. Well, get in there up to your waist, and you need to be more understanding about how cold that water is. Well, no, I don't. I don't. I stuck my toes in and I decided that's too damn cold. Well, you need to be more understanding. You need to get out in that water. No, I do not. I don't have to be understanding about this either. So you see where I'm going with this? There are a lot of times in life where we have to actually ask ourselves, do I need to be understanding about this? It doesn't affect me. It's not something that is part of my life. It's just I'm hearing this from somebody or I'm seeing this. You decide. Do you need to be more understanding? Or do you need to tell that person, boy, that's a shame. I feel for you, but yeah, let's move on. Because you have no need to be understanding about it. You don't get it. So why, and you don't want to get it. So why take it? And don't let somebody else tell you you need to be more understanding. I got a shout out here. Hey, Deidre, it is great to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Um, the uh, I as we go through this evening's show, I'm going to be giving all kinds of examples of how being more understanding in some cases is really not the right thing to do. The lack of understanding in certain cases is much better for you. And then again, in other cases, being more understanding is not just beneficial to the person that you're dealing with or the situation that's going on. It's beneficial to you also. Now, I don't I don't like it when someone says when if you're trying to tell them something that you know doesn't affect them personally at all, but it really does affect you. And you go, this happened to me, and you start telling them that you're concerned and that you were injured in some way because of this situation. And they go, whoa, wait. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That's your problem. I don't want to hear it. Now, depending on the person you're talking to, that can be so damaging to that individual because that tells them, I could care less. Yeah, you don't want to go there. You do not want that person to walk away feeling like that because when a person needs to be more understanding, again, it's an emotional act to be understanding. That's coming from your gut instincts, it's coming from your emotions to seek to better things by understanding something better. Um, that oh wow, hey, bacon stuffed donut, it is great to see you. I'm gonna interrupt my little line of thought here for a moment, and his bacon stuffed donuts comment. I could really get into some subjects I refuse to be understanding about. Oh yes, oh yes. Hey, Chrysler Imperial. I I I could too. I could sit here for an hour and go on and on and on about things that I absolutely refuse to be understanding about because I understand them just fine. I understand. I refuse to understand it. I don't want to know. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. Yeah, I could go on for an hour about those types of things. So I really, really feel for that um, bacon stuffed donut. Yeah, that is, I think everybody has those issues, those limits where don't even ask me to be understanding about that. It's not going to happen. Um, Plain old Chuck says, I'm good at just nodding my head and ignoring things. And that is a very, very safe approach with things that you've chose. I'm not going to be understanding about it, but I'm not going to let them actually know my position, my emotional position on it. I'm not going to let them know. It's none of their damn business. So I'm just going to, sure, okay. Yeah. I do that with certain people. Yeah, sure, yeah, okay. yeah, whatever, yeah, okay. And then I try to redirect the conversation because what they're talking about, I'm really not paying attention to it because I'm have no interest in being understanding. Um, the yeah, puberty blockers for young children. That's and that's it. Is I do my absolute best to stay off of those hot topics on my channel because there are channels that touch on those hot topics and they do a good job of addressing those issues. I stay away from them because I'm certain I'll have people that get very upset because I'll take a firm position that then there's no doubt. But if you knew me personally, I would definitely share all of my what I call my red line issues where don't bring that garbage around here because I will not be understanding and don't tell me how much you're suffering, and we're going to get into that in the second half about being understanding of people. You need to be more understanding of their circumstances. If those circumstances, if they own those, they created it, they put themselves there, even against all of the advice of other people. You think I want to be more understanding? I have no sympathy. You did it to yourself. You got to own it. You got to pull your ass out of that hole and work it out. You want to see me be understanding? You tell me how hard you worked to get where you are now. You worked real hard to get out of that hole and get there. That hole that you put yourself in. And we're going to get into that quite a bit after the halftime mark. So, well, hello, Gemma. Gemma's Journey Grace is in the house. Good to see you, Gemma. The I and many times see when I was growing up, I had a bad habit. Well, I still have that bad habit. I'll just let things fall out of my mouth. Sometimes I don't think before I speak. Um, yeah, Gemma's worked very hard to get where she is. Very hard, very hard. And she gets all the credit in the world. And Gemma is one. I know more about autism today than I have. I learned more in the last year than I learned in 63 years because of Gemma. And that's it. Is does Gemma talk about things that don't affect me personally? They're not in my personal life. Well, yes, she does. She talks about a lot of autistic issues that I haven't experienced. And I found with Gemma, I love that information. What if I keep telling myself, what if I come in contact with somebody and I see a trait or a response or an action that I've never seen before, but I found out about it from Gemma. So I know how to deal with it or I know how to accept it. I don't have to be more understanding about that individual because someone helped me understand well before that issue ever arose. So if somebody told me, if I did what Gemma told me to do, and then somebody told me, I think you need to be more understanding, I would tell that person, I think you need to go over and watch Gemma Journey's Grace. I don't need to be more understanding. I need you to go watch her show. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? We have to be willing to draw the line on other people expecting us to be what they determine is understanding. it has gotten in the world a lot further to the point of other people seem to believe they have the right to tell you how to think, how to feel, how to act, how to talk. Other people, outsiders. And then when you say, I, I can't do it, I can't do it. Well, we're taking your job away from you because you're not this, 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 and this. You do a good job, but you don't say the right things. You don't. Yeah, we're taking your job away from you. Well, now you hurt me, and you. I'm hungry. I don't have a house anymore because I lost my job, and someone says, "Oh, who gives a shit?" You need to be a little more understanding. You shouldn't have to say that to somebody. I think the majority of us, we already tell ourselves that. Wow, why is he in that situation, he or she? Well, that's it. There's the trigger. Now you're trying to understand because you asked the question. Why? Why is that the way it is? You get a little more information and you start realizing, you know, I understand it better now. And I think I need to be a little more understanding. And you try to get more information so you can relate to that situation or that statement or this and that. And that's the key is it's being more understanding is a communication tool is what it is. You use the need to be more understanding as your access point to getting enough information and communicating so that you can understand. Now, there are things, acts, statements, events that that you just can't accept. Period. It's just no, no. I got to draw that line. I got to draw that line. That's a no. That's a no. No, no, no. Once you know those lines that are drawn, people can. That's when you typically going to get someone saying, "Oh, you need to be more understanding. You can't just draw a line like that." Well, on that I can, because I've already been there. I've already experienced trying to understand. And then the more I understood, the more I drew that line. So the understanding that I got out of the deal is what drew that line. So anytime that situation, comment, issue, whatever comes to me again, I don't have to try to understand. I don't have to be more understanding because I already know my answer. Um, the Don't judge my motor by my paint job. There you go. That's a good one. I like that. That's a good saying. The That's it. And saying people are so quick to judge before they open the book. That is so true. People need the first step they need to take is to try to understand. And then the more they understand, then they can decide, is that a red line? Is that a line in the sand? I'm not crossing that. So don't even go there. Don't bring it back to me because if I deal with it, now it affects my life. It's an issue that doesn't affect my life. I've never had that happen to me. I've never heard that before. I've never seen that before. No. And I'd like to keep it that way because that issue is a line in the sand. I don't. So if somebody brings it to me again, I'm going to tell them the same thing. No, I draw a line in the sand there. Sorry. Sorry. Well, you need to be more understanding. No, I do not. End of subject. Let's move on. And I'm at that point in my life where very often, unless they say you need to be more understanding, I don't say, well, I understand enough kind of thing. I don't go into this discussion. I just tell them, no, I've got a position on that issue, and it's a line in the sand. I don't go there. I don't go there. I don't muddy up or dirty up my mind with that. I'm not going to sit here and try to think through that. That's a line in the sand. And that's my right. But people don't think it is your right. They think you need to do what they tell you to do, and that's be more understanding. And absolutely not. You do not have to be more understanding. The oh, thank you, Gemma. I try to be, and that's why I said it early in the show. I want to encourage everybody in everything you hear, see out there, try to understand it first, then come up with a decision, and that's why if you try to understand what you're hearing or seeing, you've done your part already because you've made that attempt. You are already becoming more understanding. Where I really have an issue is when an outside party, I don't care who it is, it can be your spouse, it can be your mother, it doesn't matter who it is. Even yourself, you should not be saying that. Unless you're saying it to yourself, you should not be telling people you need to be more understanding. Because the fact of the matter, which is the only fact of the matter, is no, they don't. Because it's their choice. It's their personal, it's their personal choice. See, and the thing is being more understanding is the gathering of certain facts, if you can even find facts, because usually when people say you need to be more understanding, there's not a lot of facts involved because it usually involves emotional, social type suffering. Now, an example is I had a friend that, he worked his tail off for 2 years, literally full 2 years, and he built himself a beautiful, beautiful restored car, right? It was a 1940 Ford's deluxe coupe, and it was a beautiful car when he was done with it. It was just like it came off the factory floor. In fact, everybody said that's better than Ford built them in 1940. It was that clean, that perfect. He let his girlfriend drive it, and she was showing off and waving at some gals on the side of the street that she knew and not paying attention. And she turned and looked, and there's the tail end of a school bus. Rented that school bus. Totaled the car. Fortunately, she was just slight injuries, nothing terrible. But the car was totally destroyed. He went on a drinking binge. He got so depressed. He ended up losing his regular job. He turned into a person that we didn't even recognize. And all of us, I never heard anybody say, when people would say, man, it's just not right that Mark is so down like that. It's just, he's doing this now to himself and this and that. And Not one of us ever said, you need to be more understanding. Because each of us had asked that question right from the get go is, oh my gosh, I got to try to understand how he feels. I mean, this guy worked almost every single day on that car for anywhere from 2 to 15 hours in a day. His weekends, both days, 12 to 16 hours each day on the weekends, and then 2 to 5 hours every night after work to build this car. And it was gone in a moment. We did our best to try to understand and never told each other, you need to be more understanding. Because some of us were telling him, hey, you need to grab yourself by the shoestrings and pick yourself up and get back to what you're doing. You know, get back to work, get back in your shop, build another car. You got to do that. It was tough love. Nobody ever said to each other, because we were applying tough love on Mark, you need to be more understanding. And it was because he needed that tough love. He didn't need to be understood. He needed tough love. Sometimes just being understanding is not enough. It's just not enough. Well, guys, we're at the halfway mark. I got to shout out my awesome, absolutely awesome channel members. This only takes about less than a minute and a half. And don't anybody go anywhere. Stick around. Stick around. I can see how many's in the house. Stay here. Stay put. This only takes a hair over a minute, and I'll be right back with you. Try to be understanding, please. Hey, Tuna, it's good to see you. I get to take a quick glance at the chat over there during that break, and it's awesome seeing you here, Tuna. The you know, I've had people come to me, and I, for years and years, I was kind of like the local sounding post. If you got something to bitch about, you got issues, you got problems, go talk to Sty. He'll listen to you. And I I just had a thing about don't ignore don't ignore people. Now you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to agree with their actions or things they're saying or the like, but don't ignore them unless they've earned it. Now some people earn it. I mean, there's a few people in the world, they know if they see me, I'm not going to say a word to them other than, and I will say, hello, and I keep walking. Or they walk up towards me and they say, well, hi, Sty, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And they know I'm not going to talk to them. So I'll just say, "Hi, I'm fine. I hope you're the same." And if I have the opportunity, I'll just walk away. Or I'll just stand there and they can talk all damn day, but I'm not listening. There are people in the world that you need to do that with. Um, and you don't have to be understanding. And I don't care. See, that's the thing is okay, let's put ourselves on the side of the person that needs to be understood. I just know from my own personal life. I wish sometimes people that were trying to be so understanding and they're drilling into my personal life just so damn deep just to find out what's going on. And it ends up being totally outside of whatever I said to them. Ends up being this huge, big, broad picture, and they're asking all this stuff all over, and they're just drilling and drilling. They're not that they don't have a need to be more understanding. They have a need to be nosy. And we need to, if you're the one that's probably needs folks to be understanding about your plight or your situation, we have to really, really hold back and kind of let some of that just blow by because if we're in need of being understood, we're not in need of a lot of extra information or having to explain ourselves to the end of the world about everything. And I oh, that that could be difficult. I like to fight, but as I get older, things take longer to heal. Oh, I've been down that road already. Somebody forces me into one. Well, guess what? They got a willing participant, but I don't like it so much anymore. Yeah, the aftermath. Yeah. Scrapping. Yeah, those were my younger days. I'm not terrible young, much younger, but I'm at that stage now where, yeah, heck, literally, literally 5 days after open heart surgery, I got into a push and shove with an individual. And I told him, I'll clean your frickin' clock. I'm going to put you right in the same hospital I just got let out of. And, but then I had to tell myself, oh, you damn fool, you old man, you're going to get yourself killed. Yeah, your chest isn't even healed shut yet. You're starting to push and shove. And yeah, well, the bugger had it coming. It had to do with children. So, um, in defense of the children. Well, hello, Rain Dancer. It's great to see ya. It's great to see ya. Hello, fellow chatters. But, all right, I've had situations in my life that were very traumatic, critical, and I've had people tell me in the worst times that I needed to be more understanding, where I was dealing with emotional and personal issues that were right on the edge of being extreme. But nobody else knew that because they were situations that were none of their business. And somebody else had an issue. And I said, you know, I feel for them, but I haven't got time for it. Well, Sty, shame on you. You should be more understanding. And I'd pop a cork. I'd pop a cork. You don't know what effing understanding is, you SOB, you son of a bitch. You don't know where I'm at right now. Don't tell me to be more understanding, son of a bitch. Well, and that's it, is being understanding is such an emotional act that that it is so hard to know if you're stepping on soft ground when you tell somebody they need to be more understanding. And yeah, bacon stuffed donuts, been there before. The it's one of those things where I've heard a rich man complaining about the prices of things to a poor man that was saying, I just got a 20-cent an hour raise and I'm thrilled, man. I'm thrilled. I'm going to get to eat steak once a month. The rich man's complaining about that. Poor man is bragging about his 20 cents. The rich man says the poor man's a dang fool. He thinks he's all that because he got 20 cents an hour raise. He's a dang fool. Okay, now here we go. Here we go. Why would you say something like that? Well, you got to understand where I'm coming from. There you go. There's a line in the sand for me. You know what? No, I don't. I don't need to understand that because that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't care if you're a rich man, a poor man, whatever. If you had a gain in life, a benefit, a net benefit, you should be allowed to feel good about that with somebody without somebody criticizing it. But you need to understand, if he worked harder, he could be rich like me. Not necessarily, possibly, but probably now. So back off. Well, you need to understand. No, I do not. So we do not always have to be understanding. You know, um, Murphy. Oh yeah, yeah. Bacon stuffed donut says it's like letting someone move in to get on their feet, but they don't want to work, cook, clean, nothing. Okay. Here's an example for you. My children were all just itty bitty at the time. In fact, we only had 3 at the time, not 4. And I had a brother-in-law. He lived a state away. And he shows up in our town, right? And of course, right away, he looks his sister up. And he says, Sis, poor me. I'm here and I'm homeless. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go, blah, 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 blah. And she said, Well, we've got this big 4-bedroom house out here on the farm. You know, come on out. We'll visit. We'll talk. We'll try to figure something out for you. Well, she should have talked to me first, but she didn't. She invites him to move in. You can stay with us until you get on your feet. It's exactly what bacon stuffed donut's talking about. Well, I get home from work. Now, I was working a job. I was working 12 to 14 hours, 5 days a week. Plus, I was farming. I had a farm. Not a big farm. It was a small farm, but I still had a farm. So I had all my farm chores every morning and every night. Even though I worked 12, 14 hours at a job, I had to come home and do all those farm chores every day, 7 days a week. Well, I got home And they told me what the scoop was. We're giving him the spare room because one of our rooms was considered a spare room. And I said, well, that might work. And my ex-wife said, now you need to be understanding. I mean, the poor guy's homeless. He doesn't got nowhere to. I said, I am being understanding. I said, but now, if he moves in, I need him to carry some of the load around here. And we were paying a babysitter so that my wife could work. She was a nurse's aide. And she worked 4 days a week. And I said, he can watch his 2 nephews and his niece while you're at work. And then we don't have to pay that babysitter. Plus, I'm going to give him a couple of daytime chores to do on the farm. Total time involved might be an hour a day. But those will be things I don't have to do. I come home. Now, several weeks had gone by. I came home, and here's everything he owns out in the front yard, thrown out the front door, all laying out in the front yard. I walked in the house, and I said, whoa, what's your brother's stuff doing all out in the front yard here? It's thrown all over. And she says, I threw it out there. I go, really? What's going on? She says, so I got home from work today. She said, the 2 kids in diapers had crap in their pants. They hadn't had diaper changed in hours. She said, there was a burnt pizza on the counter, and my brother was sitting in your recliner watching television, eating another pizza. And when I told him, what are you doing? You can't do that. You got to take care of these kids when you're watching them. And he said, oh, they're just fine. They're just fine. And she said, and you had better get out of the old man's chair because that's his chair. That's his chair. And he's not going to want to find you being a lazy butt in his chair. And he goes, a chair's a chair. I could care less that it's his. I said, oh, really? He said that, eh? And she said, yeah. And then I told him, what about your chores? You have not been doing the chores every day like you're supposed to help Sty out. And he goes, oh, Sty wants to have animals. He can do all those chores. She told him, she said, you're living here scot-free. You're eating our food. You're living in our house. You pay nothing. You don't contribute at all. Obviously, you're a lousy babysitter, and you don't work on the farm at all. You don't help at all. She said, you will either start working or get out. He said, I could outwork you and your old man any day. And she said, that's it. That's when I threw him out. And I said, well, why is all of his stuff out in the yard if he left? And she said, well, he doesn't have a car, so he has got no way to haul it out of here. He's collected a bunch of junk since he moved in. And I said, true, but where is he? And she goes, I don't know. I think he's hiding out in the barn. So I went out. I had a huge barn. I went out in the barn. Sure enough, he was out there in the barn, hiding out in the barn. He was scared to death. Scared to death. He said, I bet you're kicking me off the place. I said, looks that way. Looks like it's going to happen. And he goes, I knew my sister was going to talk you into it. I said, no, she ain't got nothing to do with it. I said, all she did was say what I've been thinking for a while. I said, no, why you're the way you are, I don't know. I don't get it. And he goes, but you need to be understanding. I'm depressed because of it. I go, no, I do not need to be understanding. I don't have to be understanding about it. You've made your bed, and your bed has been in my house free of charge. And it had totaled up to, oh my gosh, I can't remember what it was, 3.5, 4 months. And I said, I feel for you, but I don't care. I don't want to, I don't, I can feel bad for you and still not really care. And he said, but how am I supposed to go anywhere? I got all my stuff. I said, I'll tell you what, I had a car that I just wasn't getting any use out of. I figured the car it was a beater. It was worth $500 probably. But a good runner, it'd take you anywhere. I would have driven to California and back in it. But I told him, I said, okay, you can have that car. I said, I'm going to give you enough to fill the gas tank and give you 3 meals. 3 meals. And guess where those meals will have to be? McDonald's. Because I ain't giving you no sit-down meals. But you get in the car, gas, and 3 meals, and you're getting your butt off the place before the sun sets. And it was getting close to setting. I must have heard 15, 20 times before he drove out of that driveway. But you need to be more understanding. You need to understand. No, I don't always have to be understanding. What I need to all I understood was my children were neglected because of his inability to be responsible. My livestock were being neglected because he was skipping the chores, and there were times he told me that he had fed like the hogs or my steer, and he didn't. And I always wondered why they acted like they were just starving when I feed them at night when I come home, because he was supposed to feed them that afternoon. But I realized whatever is causing his issues was causing a negative impact on me, my family, my spouse, my life. So do I need to be more understanding? No, because what I understood is all the important things in life for me personally were being injured by this person's issue. Never let somebody else's life damage yours. Don't allow people to damage your life. And don't let them tell you need to be understanding. You need to be understanding. That's like I see it every day. These folks that they went to school, they went to college, and they took all these courses. And they come out, and right now, you can go online. It doesn't take a lot of effort. You go online and look at the job market, and it'll rate the different lines of work. And you've got people coming out of college with liberal arts degrees, and there's no work. There's no job for them because there's so many. The labor force with those degrees is so large that every time they want a new social worker, there's 5,000 people ready to take that job. And then they come out of college. They end up taking a job that requires no qualifications. And it's not much over minimum wage. But yet they've got a $50,000 educational debt or $100,000, some of them even more. And they whine and they complain and on and on. And you tell them, hey, you put yourself there. You put yourself there. Why didn't you look at the job market and then go to school for something that's supported in the job market? Instead, you just went to school, take whatever was easy and breezy, and then you found out there's no jobs. Not for what you went and became educated for. So they say to you, well, you need to be more understanding of all these kids in that plight. No, I don't. I do not need to understand that kind of foolishness. I'm sorry. I do not feel bad for them. I don't. They made their choice, just like my brother-in-law did. You make your choices and then expect people to be more understanding about it? No, no, no. I think the people that constantly say you need to be more understanding are the ones that need to look in the mirror and say it to themselves. I think I need to be more understanding of these people that go out there and they work and struggle through life. They have good lives. And how did they get that way? They got that way because they didn't waste a lot of time. They didn't waste a lot of time trying to understand others, you know? So is Sty a hard nut to crack? Does Sty not care? No, it's like I said early in the show. I hope everybody in any situation, no matter what it is, if it's a situation that needs to be understood, I just hope everybody, when they hear something or see something, that the first thought they have is, I don't understand. I don't see how that could happen. I don't see how they could say that. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm going to try to, I'm going to try to figure this out. I'm going to try to understand this and listen to them some more and see what's going on and then look left and right of them and any other information and then come to a conclusion. Do I really need to be more understanding? Or is this a dead end street that it's only here to muddy up my mind with a lot of worthless information because I don't need to understand this. It doesn't apply to me in any sense. So I don't want to understand it. But my plight is I'm sorry, but I cannot be more understanding because I don't want to be. Uh, um, well, you're selfish. No, no, I'm not selfish. I'm just being real about it. I don't want to lie to you. I'll just tell you, yeah. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't want to. I'm moving on. Let's talk about something else, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And I tell you what, to be understanding to a person that's down and out and they didn't put themselves there. They're a victim of circumstance and you're trying to be more understanding. You jump right in there and say, yeah, I need to be understanding about their plight. I'll tell you what, yeah, there'll be a halo and a set of wings for you because you're picking the right things to be understanding about. But if you're going to waste your days and waste your nights thinking about things that really, really you don't need to understand, just move on with life. So don't be afraid to say, no, I don't always have to understand things. I always have to give each thing a preliminary test. But from that point on, I'm not going to trouble myself with things I don't want to understand. So there you go. There's today's show for you. I hope you all understand. Yeah, please be more understanding. um, yeah, Joe, I gave up on it. I don't understand why Phil eats them dang rummy bears. Hey, you guys, Phil's posting it. Go watch Phil eat those dang rummy bears for day number 5. It's insane. Hope to see you all over at Phil's this evening. And with that, guys, you watch this closing clip and you'll know what our next topic is. And that'll be on Monday. Don't forget Sty Stories Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Sty Times Monday at 5 p.m. Central Time. Hope to see you all there. So for now, you all have a very, very good evening. Bye bye, folks.